Thank you very much. I've qualified for the bouquet of flowers. Thank you. All right, I'll stand on all the protocols that have been observed. I know you have been already seated for a while. I read somewhere online yesterday that said movement is medicine, so we probably need to get up and stretch at some point, so I'll try and not take too much time. I know you've also listened to a lot of inspiration this morning, counsel, good wisdom from those who have spoken before me. So I will try and keep it short. I do have to acknowledge the presence of my minister, Honorable Chris. I don't know how much time you're spending on the road nowadays. I don't know if you're moving on the road, by car, by helicopter, I'm not sure, but I do not envy you, and I continue to wish you strength, especially in this season. And I think I can only celebrate the passion that you have coming from Barara and being here, making it to be here with us on time. I think he does deserve a round of applause, right? Because this is what true commitment and passion for the sector looks like. And now that you have given me a new name for you, I'll be calling you the Minister of our future, right? And that future is bright. So we look forward to continue to engage with you. I also want to really thank our ED who spoke earlier and for the way he has continued to lead our sector. I'm part of this sector. I can say he leads us with a listening ear, but also a very firm hand. And when he calls us to appear, we have to make sure we appear because we recognize that we are building this together. ED, I completely echo the sentiments that you shared earlier around us being active participants. And the reason why I stand here and really privileged to be here with you this morning is because the research that you're doing as the ED clearly illustrated, we must create consumption for it in the private sector. And that is the reason why I am privileged together with all the different sponsors who are here. And thank you so much to the counselors of ISBAT and Gulu Universities and all the sponsors of this great event who have come together to be able to create this forum for us to have the conversations that are going to spark the industry and make sure that that which you're creating from a research perspective, we have the capacity to be able to consume it from the private sector. I was just chatting to one of the board members from UCC. He's actually the one who showed me the manual, which just captures all the different innovations that are here. And ED, I can tell you, if you go to page 92, where there is a paper or an IoT system to curb vandalism on transmission network, a case which has been proposed. This is something that I think we are very much alive to, and we've been having conversations with our regulator as well as various players in the industry in terms of how we can be able to leverage this. We are having a lot of challenges. Yesterday I had a customer who was expressing to me their dissatisfaction with the level of service that we had delivered to them on the home front. And when we boiled down to it, we actually found that the cable had been vandalized and disconnected because of this abject menace that is currently plaguing us. So why am I using that as an illustration? And Board Member Bernard, I say thank you for calling it out. It's because I'm just creating that connection that the things that you're thinking about, the things that you're innovating about are the realities and the challenges that we are facing today. So I stand here to speak on behalf of the private sector, specifically in the telecoms industry, and I've seen in the program that my fellow industry peer, Sahu from Airtel will be here tomorrow to give you an affirmation that that which you're thinking about and the solutions that you want to create have real value if they're embedded in the local realities and the challenges that we face today. We must continue to develop solutions that are driven by our creativity, but are also baked on the realities that we live, because that is what will create the long-term good and transformation that we seek to see in this industry. I also want to thank the UCC in a very special way for making sure that this event is anchored in this National ICT Innovation Hub. I was here a couple of, I think, months ago, and where the PS in the Ministry of ICT, Dr. Amina Zawade, was here, and we did commit to providing 5G connectivity, which I hope is now being enjoyed at the ICT Hub. And if it is not your satisfaction, could I ask that you give us feedback as your service providers to make sure that that which you committed to you has been delivered. But why do we do this? At the heart of everything that we do, there must be purpose. And I think in this room, as we sit here today, with all the great minds that are here, we are trying to figure out how do we leverage technology to be able to solve the local problems that we have and create sustainable progress. The other day, we had some members of MTN Group who are visiting Uganda, and we got an opportunity to be able to visit the Bank of Uganda governor, and he threw a challenge to us, and he asked, what is the role that you, as a telecom player and a significant contributor in this market, is playing in terms of enhancing and driving the achievement of the National Development Plan, NDP4, as we fondly know it. This plan challenges us to build a country that is competitive, inclusive, and sustainable, anchored on industrialization, job creation, productivity, as well as human capital development. So we all recognize that the question is not whether we should innovate, but the question is, and one that I want to pose to everyone in this room, especially the entrepreneurs and the researchers. I extend the same question that was thrown to me by the governor. How do we ensure that the innovations that we're coming up with are driving us closer to the ambitions that have been set by the NDP4? That vision is ambitious, and I dare say it cannot be achieved without the significant play the digital sector has to drive. And that is the reason why the theme of this year's conference, Harnessing Digital Innovation to Power Sustainable Local Solutions, is not just relevant, but is truly foundational. I think I want to call out the fact that through the NDP4, through its technology development, innovation, and transfer program, this plan calls for the commercialization of homegrown innovations and the development of a robust national innovation ecosystem. This therefore means it's a direct invitation for everyone in this room and the various sectors that you represent, whether you're in government, you're in academia, you're in private sector, or the young innovators who are here, to turn the prototypes that you have into products, research into enterprise, and digital ideas into assets that we can celebrate with pride as national assets that we can consume not only here locally, but also get the opportunity to be able to export. Innovation, ladies and gentlemen, especially the young people in this room, is not just about apps or buzzwords. They create excitement, but to create true and lasting, meaningful change, innovation has to be leveraged as a tool that is powerful for making sure that the development goals that we have as a country are turned into powerful reality. But even as we do that, I think the challenge that I also want to throw to all the policymakers who are in this room is that while we have a lot of creativity, as has been witnessed, and I'm sure will be witnessed over the next couple of days as we have these conversations, we have to realize that innovation without access is an illusion. You can build the most advanced digital platforms, but without access, the promise of innovation does not reach the people who need it the most. And that is a very passionate agenda that we have as an industry. Why do I say that? The ED, when he was here, spoke about participation, and he said, even if we create coverage, and that coverage, I know UCC is holding us as industry players to make sure that we deliver it, so that the minister's dream of making sure that every area from here to Karamoja to Kanungu, whatever part, whether you're in Gulu, in the north, you are adequately covered by the coverage that we provide. We must make sure that our people have the capacity to be able to consume. Today, less than 40% of Ugandans own a smartphone, and that is the lowest rate in East Africa. Our teledensity, based on the reports that we have, indicates that we stand at 69%, far behind markets in West Africa like Ghana, which are at 125%, Kenya, who is our neighbor, at 116%, and Nigeria, which has achieved 100%. One of the key reasons of this, when you walk and you interact with customers who we get a chance to serve across the country, and it's a great privilege, we do this on a daily basis, is that the cost of entry is very high. The cost of entry-level smartphones, I know ED, you know I'm passionate about this, is still above 230,000. Yet this is the tool that we want participation to happen. And it's also the tool that many of the young innovators and researchers who are sitting here get to do discovery and create an opportunity to be able to create innovations that are significant in terms of driving the change that we seek. We know that without a device, there's no digital economy. No use for the fintech technology that we are speaking about, no use of online learning. I think the minister spoke about you can now get a university degree seated in the comfort of your home. We have broken the brick and wall boundaries that we have. So you can get that degree from the US, from Gulu University, from Makerere, from the comfort of your home. But to be able to do that, we must have access. If you don't have access, then there is no online learning, there's no access to e-health, there's no access to e-government. Those x-rays that our minister, who is also a doctor, was talking about cannot be exchanged. And therefore, it becomes very difficult for us to be able to scale and drive the innovation that we need. For us as an industry, we are advocating for tax reforms that make digital access a lot more affordable and inclusive for all Ugandans. If we truly, as a country, are serious about digital transformation, we must address the high cost of devices that limits a lot of the young entrepreneurs and researchers in the room, which continues to exclude millions from participating in the digital economy. Affordable access is not just a telecom ambition or a telecom cry, but it has to become a national imperative. Reforming the current tax structure will help unlock this penetration, boost digital service uptake, and ultimately grow the economy in a way that is both inclusive and sustainable. For us, we have our commitments as a licensed national telecoms operator, which are described in the coverage obligations that have been designed by the Uganda Communications Commission, and we are working hard to make sure that we deliver on them. We must continue to invest, and are in total alignment to invest in rural expansion, ensure that we drive last-mile connectivity and network upgrades, even in markets that are difficult to access, because we believe that access is a right and it is no longer a privilege anymore. But to be able to do that, we must also make sure that at the same time, we are driving that same level of intensity by also making sure that we provide access. Otherwise, all we are building is highways and no cars for people to be able to drive on them. We can build the towers, we can activate the signal, we can fulfill every clause that is required in our license. But if people cannot afford a device, if digital skills are lacking, then that infrastructure goes underused, and therefore that's what then creates a difficult economic case to continue to propagate this. And I think it would be a failure if we put in the digital infrastructure that the minister has spoken to without making sure that the tools to connect are also available. So the commitment that you have from us as a private sector is that we will keep on building. We will keep on providing you with the connectivity. We will keep on making sure that we are servicing the needs that you have to help you to unlock the impact that you have. But for us to be truly transformational and make sure that we achieve the agenda that has been set in the NDP4, we must continue to make sure that we pair coverage with affordability, with adoption and usability through smart policy, public-private coordination, and investment in digital access. I am very, very grateful for the support and the guidance that we have continued to receive from the UCC. And I know we are still having a lot of conversations in terms of how we continue to accelerate the adoption that is required. And you have our commitment that we will do our part and hold our inch in delivering the ambition that has been set by the government. There are many other structural, I think, access challenges that we can continue to engage in. But for me, the other call that I would also like to make is to make sure that even as we develop the policies, I know there's been a passionate conversation this morning around Facebook. I have to say I agree with everything the minister has said, and I'm fully supportive of what him and the UCC through the ED are working on in terms of making sure that we are providing an online safe space for our people. We must make sure that we are responsible in terms of the communications that we are also having online. But also at the same time, I would also like to encourage a perspective that says that policy must enable, not constrain. The call for Facebook is one that we continue to echo a lot as industry players, because we know that this continued lack of access has denied entrepreneurs, students, developers, and citizens who have relied on it for connection, commerce, and learning. I was looking at a study because obviously MTN exists in different markets, around 15, 16 markets across Africa. And I was looking at studies that were comparing the level of usage of data in this country versus other markets. And you realize that for a lot of our rural population and people who are coming into the internet for the first time, they are looking for connectivity. And one of the apps that has been able to deliver that for them is Facebook. So in a way, we have limited our growth in terms of data usage as a country because of lack of access to this app. So the challenge that has been thrown to us by the ED is either we create our own Facebook here in Uganda and make it attractive for consumption by Ugandans and also go beyond. But also at the same time, I think there's also a lot that we can be able to learn in terms of innovation that has been done in other markets. My encouragement to the minister and my plea to the minister is that while we must have the right policies to regulate, and I'm really encouraged to hear that you're having conversations with the right people in Meta and Facebook, we must also ensure that the innovation that we come up with is not restricted, it's allowed to thrive, because innovation needs openness, predictability, and trust. For us, our mission today remains clear. Our collective mission remains clear, that digital progress must power Africa's progress. We are doing a lot on the MTN side and are constantly open to receive your feedback to make sure that you hold us accountable on the delivery of that promise every day. Through the work that we are doing on mobile money platforms like MTN Momo, we are powering financial access across the country, and we have now created open APIs that allow innovators and entrepreneurs to be able to connect with us, because we realize that our work is more around distribution and creating a platform that allows that collaboration to happen. Through continuous network expansion, as I've spoken to, we are bridging rural and urban divides. Through partnerships with the Ministry of ICT and companies like Centenary Technology Services, we're investing in digital literacy, skills development, as well as ecosystem support. And then through the conversations that we have with all the different policymakers, we are also helping and playing our role in shaping a regulatory environment that enables growth, protects users, and also supports long-term national development. I think for us, as I close, our challenge is to make sure that as an industry, we continue to step up to connect every Ugandan to opportunity, inclusion, and progress. It will require us to not run isolated projects in themselves, but make sure that we create a sustainable innovation system that is built on local talent. And I therefore celebrate all the talent that is represented in this room, because Uganda is brimming with ideas. The 70 or so research papers that have been shared in this conference or are going to be shared in this conference prove it, but these ideas need fuel. Then that fuel is a fuel of mentorship, of capital, of incubation, and platforms to scale. And MTN is here to be able to support you on that. The second thing, of course, is that innovation requires rails, so we must invest in infrastructure, and we will hold our inch in terms of making sure that we deliver on the connectivity. And with the government, the Ministry of ICT, as well as the regulator, continue to work to make sure that as we provide connectivity, we also provide affordable devices. We also make sure that power is available and secure platforms that allow these solutions to be able to reach everyone, because a smart solution that cannot reach the last mile it will just remain a concept and not anything that is driving transformation. The last item, other than local talent and infrastructure, is also to make sure that we drive an environment where we capitalize a lot on collaboration. So platforms such as this or conferences such as this are significant catalyst transformers and are important in terms of driving the change that we must see. So as I close, to all the students and young innovators who are here today, you are not waiting in line for the future. You are already building it. And I celebrate everyone with a builder's mentality, everyone who has put their hand to work. Your ideas are fresh, your ambition is bold, but also make sure that even as you build, your ideas are practical and are speaking to the realities and the opportunities that we have in this market. Build what solves the problems that our communities face. Think beyond invention to creating long-term impact, because that is what will truly be transformational. Uganda's digital economy is not coming, it is already here. And you are the people in the room who are already shaping it. The choices we make today will either result in us creating a Uganda that accelerates into the vision that has been set by a great government, or it remains a plan that is on paper and is not realized. So my challenge to all of us, myself included, together with my team, is to make sure that we turn this plan into a story for action by leveraging digital information, powering sustainable local solutions, and turning our development goals into reality. Our realities are full of rich insights. Our communities that are represented by yourselves are full of creativity. And you, our innovators, are here to prove that great ideas don't need to come from global hubs, as the ED has challenged us, but can rise from our local soil. The future is digital, but it is also human, because it is powered by everyone who is in this room. Technology alone will not transform our societies. People will. It's you and me. So we need to remain visionary leaders, bold entrepreneurs, passionate teachers, and determined young minds to making sure that we are able to create an environment that is able to harness digital innovation, not as an end in itself, but as a means to a sustainable and inclusive future. One that is locally inspired, digitally driven, and globally admired. That is what will truly create an unstoppable Uganda. I thank you for your audience, and I wish you fruitful deliberations over the next few days. God bless you all.